This video would teach you how to use Cramer's rule with a 2x2 system of equations. If we have two equations with variables x and y, we can use Cramer's rule to solve for x and y. a1 and a2 are the coefficients of x in both equations. b1 and b2 are the coefficients of y. And c1 and c2 are the constants on the right side of the equations. To calculate x and y, we first calculate a determinant called d, which contains the coefficients of x, a1 and a2, and also the coefficients of y, b1 and b2. Then we calculate another determinant called d sub x. This determinant contains the constants c1 and c2, which are located on the right side of the equations, and also the coefficients of y, b1 and b2. Finally, we calculate a third determinant called d sub y with the coefficients of x, a1 and a2, and the constants on the right side of the equation, c1 and c2. Now, to figure out what x equals, we divide the determinant dx by the determinant d, and for y, we divide the determinant d sub y by the determinant d. Now let's take a look at an example. We have the system of equations x minus 3y equals 5 and 2x plus 6y equals negative 2. Now we'll label each variable and constant. This is a1, this is a2, this is b1, this is b2, and this is c1 and c2. First, we'll calculate the determinant d, and d had the coefficients a1, a2, b1, and b2. So that would be 1, 2 for the a's, and then negative 3 and 6 for the b's. Next, we'll calculate the determinant d sub x. D sub x first had the constant c, so that's 5 and negative 2, and then the coefficients b, negative 3 and 6. Now let's set up our last determinant, d sub y, and this determinant has the coefficients a, 1 and 2, and then the constants on the right side of the equation, 5 and negative 2. Now that we have all our determinants set up, let's go ahead and calculate them. First, multiply 1 times 6 and subtract 2 times negative 3. So this is equal to 6 minus negative 6, which is 6 plus 6, or 12. Then calculate the next determinant, 5 times 6, minus negative 2 times negative 3. So that turns out to be 30 minus 6, which is 24. And for the determinant d sub y, we calculate 1 times negative 2 minus 2 times 5. This is negative 2 minus 10, which is negative 12. Now to get the answer for x, we'll divide d sub x by d. So that is 24 divided by 12, which equals 2. And for y, we'll divide d sub y by d. D sub y was negative 12, divided by d, which was positive 12, we get negative 1. So the solution to this problem is x is 2 and y is negative 1.